Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Bite Size Branding live show. We made it Friday again. Thank God. Let's get out of here. But of course not. That's why we're here for Bite Size. Today we have a great show. I've been super excited about this for a very, very long time. I like looking at branding and taking it apart. So we brought two exciting guests onto the show. So I'd like to welcome Chris Harris from Red Kite and Vincent Leonaldo from Udicity, another one of the Udicity team. Vincent is the lead designer here that supports the branding side of the business. And Chris from Red Kite is an amazing partner of ours based out in Brisbane. And they're a brand strategy and design agency out there. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you both on the show. Chris, I'll give you a moment to introduce yourself in a second. But first, I'll kick it over to my main man who's over this side, pointing at the wrong side, Grant, to introduce the show and the format for today.
Hi everyone. Well, my name is Thom, and I'm the head fire starter of the industry. And what that means is that I help businesses to grow and scale, and to make their businesses valuable with the view of a very noisy marketplace. We help with a bunch of guests with the view to unbundle subject matter, with the view to find out the rights and wrongs, opinions, no such things as wrong answers. It's all about how to make sure you can apply effective marketing with the view to be beneficial in the growth and scale of your business. Normally on the show, we go 5 minutes on a subject matter and we try and unbundle it and beat the clock. And when we have a guest, we go down to 7 minutes and we try and give them 2 extra minutes. But today, we've got 8 brands that we're going to unbundle, and we're giving each brand 3 minutes. So, of course, guys, you've got to get your elbows out, you've got to get your conversation in, and you've got to get your point across. But until then, over to you guys, and please welcome yourself, Chris.
Hi, well, thanks for having me. So as Bernard mentioned, I run a graphic design agency up here in Brisbane. We specialize in branding. So that's everything from brand identity design to brand consultancy and strategy. And obviously we do a lot of logos. So hence we're here today. So yeah, see a lot, and I love logos and everything about them. So looking forward to getting into it.
And Vincent.
Sorry, I have to unmute myself a little bit. Yeah, so I'm Vincent. I've been working for Udicity for almost 5 years, I think.
5 years,
before it's called Udicity. So it's been fun. Started as a junior designer, and now I have been managing a lot of brands, creating design directions for Udicity for our clients. So yeah, it's been a ride, and very excited for the show.
Well, welcome. Fantastic.
So it's going to be a hyped up show. It's going to be fast. We've just got to get in there and really chew the fat. Take the meaty part out of every single one of these rebrands. There's been a lot of rebrands going on since kind of late 2020 into 2021. I think everyone's taking a little bit of time during these lockdowns to relook at the way they position themselves in market and come out with these sexy new brands. So we're going to jump into it with one that's a hot topic right now. Facebook came out, wowed the world, and said, hey, we got this new thing. We're calling it Meta. It's about the Meta universe. It's going to be our group brand that holds and hosts all our little micro brands. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Let's see if I can. There we go. Actually, should I start the timer first, Grant? I think
no, share the brand and then
share the screen. Let everyone get comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we are. I'm sharing. Actually, I might just, to make this easier, I will pop this onto another screen and I'll share it over here. Okay, so let's go like this and we'll share the screen. Yes, it keeps giving me advice on how to share screens like I've never done it before. And there we go. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can see that now. Awesome. So I'm going to give it a little refresh. It does a little animation here. Here we go. Show us what you got. I'm underneath the branding completely. I'm a bite-sized brand. There we go. Look at that. Ooh. So a little bit of an animation there. That's the logo there in the corner. So are you guys ready? I'll hit the timer.
Ding ding.
There it is. So thoughts on the Meta brand and also the Meta concept.
Okay, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, do it, Chris.
I think. I don't love it. For a company with like Facebook's resources, and it's supposed to be like a super cutting edge, brand new concept, new to the world. I think they could have done a little bit more with it and really given a bit more of that kind of vibe. I mean, I like the simplicity of it, It has got that like smooth techie animation that goes with it, and I like that. But I don't love the text that goes with it. I think is a bit flat. I know that all these kind of modern tech companies are keeping it really like minimal and streamlined. But I think they haven't executed it as well as they could have. I don't know what you guys think, but
yeah, look, I'm the same. I feel like there's no synergy between the text, which is quite blocky and angular, and the font and the symbol, which is quite rounded and freeform in its shape. I also feel like the icon itself doesn't feel like anything new. I feel like I've seen it like a billion times between, I can't even think, Percept and all those guys that have like 8 symbols, figure eights that loop back and forth into each other. It basically looks like a figure 8 or an infinity symbol that's been turned on its side and a couple of gradients attached. It doesn't feel like they've done something that really makes you go, "Ooh, wow, this is a new universe. This is Web 3.0.
I'm funny you say that. I'm sure I saw something on social media about a company. I can't remember exactly what they did. I think it was in the medical field, and it had the exact same logo, but it was in green in a slightly different shape or something. But so I think they're a bit close to the line there.
Yeah,
totally agree. I saw that as well. Just as Bernard says, it's not a completely new logo. It's everywhere. And then I heard that some company that's called Meta, and then with a similar logo, is suing Facebook now.
Oh no.
That's what I've heard. But then, I think I do understand the directions that they're going for. They're trying to be as simple, as solid as possible with their icons, so that in the future it's very easy to identify. As long as you see this kind of icons that it reminds you of Meta. But I do agree, the font is not the best. The E and then the A, it's just the A has a lot of white space in the middle as in comparison to E, so everything just a little bit out of balance.
Disjointed. Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm with the guys. I don't think this is a fantastic next step, but I think it's in transition. I think that there's more to come. I think that it's possibly blockchain, or there's something going to come into this in the sense of some form of tokenism, crypto. There's another game plan around this. They want us to be unhappy. They want us to talk about it. They want us to acknowledge the fact that they have got another name. But at the same time, they are touching on iconography, 4 letters, bold, symbolism, all those things they're touching on. So they're reading the market correct. But at the same time, I don't know.
Done. 3 minutes. Amazing work. I think, I don't know. I think just for a last little loop, I reckon Google did a much better job with Alphabet than Facebook did with Meta, creating a group brand. I just feel like they cracked it out of the park. Like Alphabet was so out of the box. The thinking was great. It ties all their products together. This kind of feels like this really left of center, completely disjointed name that they came up with and thought, oh, this is cool in our little nerdy dungeon. People are like this. Awesome. Anyone else want to put in some last little minute thoughts into that one?
Go.
Grant is like, I am done with that. I'm done with that concept. Okay, cool. Ready for the next one?
Okay.
Red
The next one is Red Rooster.
I'm not going to say anything just yet. Are we ready to have a chat? Hit the timer.
Go.
Let's do it. Oh, I can't see the timer. There it is. Cool. I'm going to start off because I'm going to say, oh, Vincent, you want to start off? Vincent, jump in.
Yeah. Well, I only noticed it today, to be honest. Like, I'm not aware they actually went through a rebrand, but then I thought it was a really cute rebrand, especially it's really smart to play with the white spaces because the two are being like fit together, that it creates like a little chick, the negative space in the middle is their little beak and then the eyes and stuff. So I thought it was pretty cute. Does it convey that they are a fast food company? Not so much. It doesn't really tell me anything about food, but then I'm 50-50 about it, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I'm glad that they keep that font, the Red Rooster font, because that's quite iconic.
Yeah.
Chris, jump in there. I could see you like gasping.
Well, I don't know. I was really on the fence with this one. I think when it first happened, I didn't like it at all. But then I think with like fast food chains and things like that, there's always a little bit of nostalgia about them. You've eaten them before, you've been there at a certain time in your life, and I don't know, there's certain times where you just want to eat chicken, and you recognize that symbol. And I think since the change, something about it just didn't sit with me. But the more I look at it, you say it's got that kind of makes you look twice hidden element in it, which I really like. And I think there was obviously issues with the old one. It was a bit dated and didn't do very well at small sizes and things like that. So this one is a bit more versatile. It's a bit more modern. And I think that the use cases and stuff, the more I see it, in restaurant signage and things like that.
Like the packaging down here, how they've applied it a bit like a watermark on the outside of the box rather than always getting the full logo. I think it's nice how they play with it.
Yeah, it looks great. So yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna say I love it. I think it's wicked. What I actually don't like about it is all the throwbacks. I actually don't like if that's the new logo, I feel like it's simplified and it's rounded, and then you have this old font that's sitting underneath it that actually doesn't really marry up. So I'm kind of like, well, either go all the way or don't go all the way. Like don't halfway rebrand. And I get the idea of wanting to do a throwback, but in the end, a lot of the new generation that's learning about Red Rooster isn't even going to know the old brand. It'd be like Pepsi keeping the old font and putting the new icon on it. Like it's kind of a bit pointless. You either rebrand or you don't. But what I actually noticed in this, which I just noticed now, is it's actually super disjointed. I don't know if you noticed, but none of the fonts match on the site. So you got this like weird, like kind of display-ish font here, and then it's slightly different when it's used in different applications. Then these fonts are like regular sans serif fonts, and then you have the Red Rooster font, which isn't reused anywhere except in the particular branding. And then nothing really reflects the logo in the text styling. So it's just like, here's 4 fonts and let's just like mash it all together. And there's your new brand, I actually think the icon, oh no, Grant.
Yeah, he didn't give me a chance.
Poor man, the poor guy. I think the icon's great. That's all I want to say.
All right, well, let me top it off. Okay.
Yeah, you can top it off.
I think that they went a step further. I think that it is a great design. I think that from what they were to where they are now, I think is great. I think what is lacking is the recipe of the tie-through through the whole brand. I love some of the packaging. I love the application of the brand. I think they did a sterling job by bringing this brand dead center into the new age. But I find that it's lacking in recipe, in the sense of continuity, in the sense of message, and how to get that whole thing titled together. So for me, I think it was a good effort. And I took to it very quickly, but at the same time, I feel that there's still lots on the table that it can still do with this brand.
Cool. Ready for the next one, guys?
Yes.
I'm actually really excited about this one. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Oh yeah.
But Kia's new branding, man. I'm gonna hit this timer before anyone says anything. Go for it. Who's gonna start it off?
Yeah, I'll go. I love this. Really, really good. One kind of dated, and I guess it felt like a lower end kind of car. Whereas this one, like the dynamic shape, the kind of the italics, that feel of like momentum, progression, speed, fast cars. It just feels a bit more kind of premium. And when you actually see it on a vehicle and their
and the new design cars,
it looks super smart. It looks slick. So I really like it.
I think it's also unique. You don't see that in car brands where they're just using the text type without anything circling it or framing it or bordering it as the logo. And I think that's what I really like about it. Like they're actually challenging the convention with car branding, which I think is an exciting step for Kia as a brand. And they've really stepped up their design on the cars. So you see the cars now, and everything just marries up perfectly. But I'm going to shut up so that I don't take up all the time again.
Okay, I'll jump in a little bit. I totally agree with Chris. It totally elevates the company into a new level. It's no longer just a cheap and kind of family cars design, but they do give that luxury elements into it. But I myself love it. But then the downside is that when I first saw this rebrand, actually it takes me a while to navigate what is written, because if you analyze the structures, and there's a lot of triangles going on, and then it can comes off as a bit hard to read Kia, but then after you read it, then it just won't go away. But that's the downside, I think. But I love it.
All right, so I'll step in. Look, I welcome the fact that they took the brand to the next level. I did not like the last brand whatsoever, so I welcome the fact that they did and enhanced the brand. There's elements of this that I do like. But I must be honest with you, when I look at the A and the I, I'm getting a back to front end, and I'm not getting it out of my mind. As much as I'm trying to stay with Kia, it's forcing me to think of something else. So as much as I do enjoy the K, enjoy the angle of the upstrokes, they've got some nice touch, but I just feel it's maybe just missed the mark by a touch. But I welcome the fact that they were able to embrace it and not put it in an encapsulated oval. which most car brands do.
Mm-hmm.
I like the looseness of it, but I just feel that it's just missing a little bit of the connotation of the A.
I think you're right. Actually, when I remember seeing it for the first time, I was like, what the hell is that brand? And then I kind of went, oh, yeah, it says Kia. I got it. And maybe it would have been a small thing as just dividing the end of the K and the end of the A off there. And then that would have just created the separation between those letters.
I mean,
I still think it's...
See it.
Sorry? Now you can't unsee it.
Yeah, now you said it. I can see it. So like, ruined it.
I'm sorry. We ruined it.
He was so in love with it a second ago, and we just took it away from him. I think still, besides that, it's still a phenomenal rebrand.
Yes.
I think it's elevated the cars. You can tell they've already made the cars more prestige. The price point has gone up, and it's happened in a way that people actually, I think, are comfortable with it. They're actually like, they don't care that the price point's gone up because they feel like everything has moved in that general direction, and that's the strength of creating a brand that aligns with where you want to position a brand. So good job, Kia, overall. Good job. Look at us sitting on the sidelines, not knowing all the shit that design company had to go through to get it across the line. Oh, man. That probably would have been, months and months and months in the working. Awesome. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely.
Cool. So this one, Ampol. Nice family favorite brand. Ready to rumble? Let me hit
All right,
that.
so I'll start this one.
There we go.
So I don't mind this brand. I'm not familiar with the brand in the sense of its history, but at the same time, I don't mind what they've done in the sense of its positioning. I do feel that the two strokes make it the font a little small because it's such a big red stroke and blue stroke at the top. But I love the way that it is balanced. Everything's lined up. It's come together. It's very symbolic, and it ties in with the past angular font that they went previously. So I like the font that they've used, but once again, I just feel that it's in font size. It's just come down a tad. But yeah, I'm not disliking it.
There is something. There is a nice throwback in the angle of the A. What's throwing me is the angles of the M and how wide the O is. Why is the O like the O looks like it's stretched randomly, and then the M, the angles seem off. Like the angle on the left doesn't seem to equal the angle on the right. I don't know if that's just a weird eye thing because the A is angled differently. I agree as well. I feel like there's a lot of emptiness. There's a lot of, it's like very hollow. And even when you see it on signage, I don't know if you've seen it as you drive down the street, but it looks like the sign's super empty. It's just like this big white sign and this tiny little line on there. They could have just made it a little bit bolder, the line work on the giant A, and that could have solved that problem. But there's definitely something going on with the font that's just throwing it all off a little bit. Guys, chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't love the font that goes with it, and I just think simplicity is great. I mean, you say that about logo design. I think that if the more you can take out of it, the better. But I just think it's gone too far in that direction. There's just not a lot going on. I think they could have done more with it. I guess like it is a strange lockup for a logo, but the way they use it is on those big signs, and it's in a like square sign usually. I guess when you see it on this road, so it works okay like that. But yeah, I just don't think there's much going on, and it's kind of a bit flat.
You know what I kind of see? It would be cool if they did it, if this was a plane, on a plane. If the tail of the plane was colored with like the red stripe and the blue stripe, I actually kind of feel like that would be cool. And when you said that, it would be actually cool if they cut the signs in a triangle rather than just keeping them square.
That would make a lot more sense if they could do that. It would really
fill the entire space.
I think it's. I actually don't mind it. I know that there's a lot of like negative space like going on with the A. Well, I do agree with Bernard. If they actually just tiny bit put a little bit more weight into the strokes, then I think it will sit perfectly fine. But I do agree that M is hideous. The M, like the stem here, it's not an upright. It's slightly angled, but then it's not the same angle to the rest of the angle that has been put on. So
yeah, good one. Look, I think if they had just made the lines of that M straight, that would have fixed that issue. Yeah. And I don't know what else to say.
I think that the Ampol and the two strokes at the top could be a little bit closer. There's a little bit of too much distance between
too much distance.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm over this logo. Next.
Right, let's next one. So has anyone amazed by how quickly 3 minutes goes?
Especially when there's four of us talking, yeah.
Yeah, but it's good that everyone's getting it in. Like, I couldn't find a page to put all these logos in one place, so I thought I'd just show it on Google because that was the best option. But I wanted to show the original text and the original iconography. But in case you haven't guessed it, it's Uber. Ready to rumble, guys?
Yep.
Who wants to jump in?
Yeah, I can do this one. So I guess like Uber, I think they got a lot of bad press when this came out. They spent a lot of money on it, a lot of time, and then it was just a typeface with the word Uber. But saying that, I like it, and that's because this is going slightly beyond the logo, but into how they actually use
application
branding. And I think their U frame is right in the middle there, the on the billboard. Their U frame, and they put like images within it. So they have this kind of really good brand identity or brand identity system that they use throughout all of their marketing. And I actually think it's really clever and it works really well. So it's nice and simple and modern, a really like modern black, white color palette. So on face value, yes, they spent a lot of money in for not a lot, but their whole identity system, I think, comes together really well. And I think it's really smart and sophisticated and modern. So I like it.
Well, to me, I don't love it, to be honest. I only feel that it's very easily recognized because then Uber as a company itself is a huge feat right now in the industry. Everyone talks about Uber and then, uses their services. And that's the only reason why, to me, like the logo stands out, that people easily recognize because they've seen it everywhere. It's not necessarily because the logo is well designed. It's more so because of the company itself is actually very well structured. And then
so you're saying if somebody scribbled Uber on a piece of paper, it would have been pretty much the same result?
No. It's just because of the company, not necessarily.
It is a good point. It's like Uber is pretty much taxi. If you write taxi and you scribble it on a napkin, anyone would know what a taxi is. That's kind of the name that Uber has created in the ride share market. I don't know how I feel about this one. I do like what they've done with the patterning on the icon on the app icon, which they've also done for the food service as well. I wonder if they should have just turned that upwards and it made a U again, rather than just being a random shape that looks like a dot and a point on because then the shape also has meaning. So it's still kind of forming a U if you were to turn it 90 degrees to the right. I do love this application though. I like how they're using it as a frame. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty innovative. Does the font really say anything? Not really. I don't think. It's nice. I like this post-rationalization here. Has anyone ever post-rationalized anything as a designer? Can you tell when other designers post-rationalize?
Yeah. So I'll jump in quick. I must admit, from a font perspective, I'm not enjoying where they are now. I preferred where they were previously. I think from an icon perspective, I think they have moved in the right direction and they've got a bit more playfulness. But I think with all the opportunity that they had in the sense of the market share that they've got, I think they could have played a little bit more. I think they played very safe.
I like that. I think you phrased that well. Does anyone else feel like that Uber is really close together?
Yeah.
Like a little bit of breathing room would have been nice.
Yeah, it's very tight.
I like it.
He likes it. I knew he was gonna like it.
I'm a typography guy. Even just there was another application in the grid there that was literally just like black and white typography. I like that stuff. It's just tight. It looks good.
Here.
Or like this one up here, right on the right hand side. They're like,
I'm with you, Chris. I love typography as well, and I love black and white, and I love space, but I like air as well. I like it to breathe.
This is a great piece, actually. What is this?
I like that. I like the application, but it just doesn't really have a signature of this is for Uber, because I've seen it like tons everywhere. Anyway, move on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, all nice to hear. Good. Anyway, next. Cool. A brand that's close to our hearts in Udicity, Slack. I'm gonna hit the timer before you even get a moment to think.
I'm going to go off first. To be honest, I really like their first logo and then their rebrand. It's just a heartbreak for me. I really like how they put like, what do you call it, a tongue depressor for four of them, and then, frame it into like a little square and then angle it. I do understand that with the applications of, like multiplying the color, it creates too much colors and that it can be really hard to put on like the colored background. Or the application can be tricky, but then I thought it's such a great, cute icons, and then that rebrand is, it doesn't speak to me. I
Okay, what are we feeling?
Vincent, I like the first one a lot more than this one. As I said, I don't mind the fonts, but I really did enjoy the first one a lot more.
What are you thinking, Chris?
I guess this one is kind of similar to the Red Rooster thing I was talking about, where it's kind of like a nostalgia about it. Like everyone used Slack. It was like a fairly new thing when it came out, so everyone, felt something about that and liked it. But I think it's grown on me. I know I'm going against it again here, but I hated it at first, but I think with all the little animations and things that go with it, because they're a digital brand and the way they use it, it just has a bit more versatility, whereas the other one probably didn't as much.
Very aesthetic.
It's more versatile and it's a bit more playful. I know there's some things with this which are, safe for work and not safe for work. There's some things that look like that people have mentioned, which I won't mention. But if there's anything like that I think is a negative association with it, then that's not a good thing. So that's a deficit for it as well. But I don't mind it. It grew on me.
I think this is a good example of how a brand can be playful. They moved with the view to be relevant, they moved with the view to be playful, they moved with the view to be flexible and adaptable to any kind of communication they want to put out. So I think this is a good case study for something like that.
Yeah, and I agree with Chris. I was a bit neither here nor there with it at first, and then I actually growing to quite like it. I think the colors are really bold, which is what I like, whereas before the colors were a little bit muddled because of that overlapping. It gives them a ton of shape options. So now they have like 2 or 3 different shapes that are in play there, so they can round things off. They can round things with a straight corner. Like, it gives them different elements they can play with. And I think from what I've read about it and the thinking is to take it away from being too close to a hashtag, because they felt like their brand was getting lost in the whole hashtag economy out there. And this is kind of their new take on a hashtag. So I like it. I think the font choice next to it as well was quite a good choice. Maybe something that was a little bit more even rather than changing font weights through the font could make it connect a little bit better. But otherwise, I think it's good. Yeah, I just had to end it. I think it's good.
Put it to bed.
It's little speech bubbles, isn't it? That's what's supposed to make up the symbol.
Yeah. So they're like little conversations. Yeah.
In their marketing material. Yeah. So I think it's quite good. It's versatile for that reason.
I wonder. I'm gonna just pop open our Slack. They haven't really. Wouldn't it be nice if they just changed like the display picture of humans to be like the same shape as the new logo? Like, rather than like the little speech bubbly, like an angle on one corner and rounded on the other, just to like bring the brand element into the actual platform. And maybe like the buttons as well, instead of them being rounded like every other button everywhere else in the world, like just bring elements of the logo into the actual platform. Anyway, random aside. You don't have to agree, please. Don't.
You're on your little podium.
Yeah. This is my program. I'll just remove you. Cool. This one was great, actually. We had me and Grant had a great discussion about. I'm going to hit the timer while I bring up some more stuff for you guys to look at. But ZipPay, in case you don't know what that is, thoughts.
I loved it. I thought that they really took a bold step. I think they cleaned up. They positioned well. They created a bit of imagination. They got very precise. I like the step that they've taken and the simplicity of how they've rolled it out.
Oh no, you go, Vincent.
Okay. I was just about to say, when I first see it, then I don't necessarily like it. But then earlier just now, I went to their website and see the applications of their logo, especially the purple line.
Yeah.
It kind of like, extends, and then depending on the items that they want to show off, I thought it was a very clever applications, and then it just shed a new light to how you want to see this logo, I guess. So after seeing different application on it actually grows on me. I like it.
I'm gonna agree with that exact. Oh, look, this page looks like it hasn't been updated too well. I'm going to agree with that as well. I felt like, and I'm going to add something else. I felt like the boldness of the font actually feels dated to me. It feels like something from the 80s rather than something from the nows. But it kind of grows on you once you start to see it in play. Like I like how they've used the languaging here, where there's like zip pay and the pay is written inside the block, and then zip honey, zip money, sorry, inside the block. So like playing with the font, so it becomes an application within different use cases is kind of cool. I think the color's wicked. I think that's a really unique color. You don't see it online too often, so it's going to stand out wherever you put it. I'm just not sure. It's just the logo on its own. When I see it just on its own, I don't know. I'm not
Totally same. I'm not sure if you can like pull it up, but then I think it's on their Zip homepage. They have like an animation where the purple kind of like extend and distend, and then they have like animations of items that you can buy, kind of like popping on and off through that blocks. And I thought it was stellar. It was really cool.
I'm trying to get to there earlier because I've seen it before as well, but this is what keeps coming up, which is not animated at all. But Chris, just before it finishes off, give us your.
Well, I guess I'll make it quick. But I guess on the kind of same page as you, the logo itself, I don't like it. I think again, it just looks dated. There's something going on with the Z that I don't like. It doesn't look right. But
I don't know if you noticed, but there's little flat edges on the inside of the angles, which is super weird. See that?
Yeah. So there's just something about it I don't like. But in application, I guess this is the importance of branding, and not just like branding is not just your logo. So if you look at a logo in isolation, it doesn't look great. But when you actually put it into content, you animate it, you do all the stuff they can do, that is your brand. So that's what they've done really, really well. So in application, it works great. As a logo itself, I don't like it, but it doesn't matter because whenever you see it, it's being animated or being used in some way. You never really see it just like that.
Like this. And it's funny actually, because I think Grant and I had a very similar opinion when we did one of these shows before for the GoDaddy logo, which in isolation was a bit like, it's a bit weird. And then you see how they use it with this cartoony animated play on the website. And you're like, oh, actually, this is pretty cool. That was a bold move for GoDaddy though, from being that like, raunchy women on ads GoDaddy thing to becoming this like clean, family, fun little cartoony brand. It was a very big jump for them as a rebrand.
Yeah, it was.
Cool. This one here, I again couldn't find a comparison, but we can have a look at it in. Thank God for Google Images. I'll hit the timer. Glass house does fragrances, usually like candles and what are those things called that you put the bamboo sticks in on there? I don't know what they're called. I can't remember. I've got them all over my house. Can't remember what they're called. Sorry?
Diffuser? Is that it?
Diffuser. Reed diffusers. That's what they are. I'll hit the timer. So I'll give some context as well, just at the beginning. So this is the original logo here. If you can have a squeeze inside this. So you see the more serif font in there.
Yeah.
And the new logo that did not work. I've zoomed in too much. There we go. The serif font. And the new logo is this one down here, where you see this new branding come in. And since I'm talking, I might as well keep talking. I actually really like the new rebrand. Their application on the candles themselves and the product, I think, is phenomenal. It just looks sophisticated. It looks clean. I like the extension of the G through the H. I don't really have much else to say about it. I think it's just clean and sophisticated, which is the market they're going for, is that elegant market. So, guys, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll jump in really quickly. I mean, I really like the update. I think it looks a bit more modern. And adding the symbol, I guess, gives them a little bit more versatility, more ways that they can use the logo. And I also like how it all ties together. So the symbol is the same kind of weight as the text.
Yes.
The H almost drops straight in there. So it all marries up really well together. The spacing between them all, between the symbol and the tagline underneath as well. So it's just a really nicely balanced logo.
Yeah, nice one.
Well, I think I'm actually not too familiar with this brand, but now looking at the old logo and compared to the new one, I definitely leans towards the new one. Do I like the new one? Just 50-50. I feel like if they use a serif font, but then make it all capitalized and then kind of like play with the kernings a little bit so it's spaced out, I think it will be more elegant rather than sans serif thing. I feel like it gives more of a luxury, like an old style luxury. I don't know. It just feel it will be a little bit more expensive in my opinion.
More prestige as a brand. I guess yeah, you see that often where classic brands use sans serif to kind of reinforce their that more classy or sophisticated upmarket feel. Grant, jump in, man. 51 seconds.
I think that they've definitely taken a step in the right direction. I don't mind the icon at all as to what they've brought about. I think that less is more connotation really, really works well. When I was looking this brand up and I looked at the website with the bit of an advent calendar, you can see from the imagery that it's very high class, very distinguished. And I think that their branding carries good weight in that potential positioning of what they've done in their packaging. So I think that they've done a sterling job from the font they were to where they are. I think they've really brought this brand in line.
I agree. Wow, one that we like that we still got 10 seconds. Anyone?
No.
I like it. Like you start to see all these applications and you really start. I feel like it really just sinks in. Quiet you.
Okay.
Awesome. We're last of the show. Ready to go?
Last of the show, ready to go.
Do you guys know this brand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked in web for a while, so yeah, we use it like in that. So yeah, like tracking on screen, the way like people are using the site, and you can see like heat maps.
So it's like a heat mapping. So it tracks how long people spend on different parts of the site, so that you can see what people are engaging with more or less on the page. Cool piece of software. This one actually, when we were planning this show, appeared in my inbox. They sent me an email and said, "Oh, we just rebranded." I was like, "What is this incredible thing? I'm adding you to the show," and hence they're here. Cool, ready to go? I'll actually because for anyone that's unfamiliar with the brand, I'll just put these two little babies side by side. Again, thank God for Google. I don't know how these guys do these rebrands where they completely erase the original logo from the internet. Yeah. It's like, honestly, like you go through Google, look, there's no old branding. I can't find it anywhere except for this, this thing for somebody else, for Connect Square. So that's the old Hotjar branding there with the little flame and the awesome font. Cool. Ready to rumble?
Yeah.
Actually, before I run into this one, I'll scroll down a little bit and just show it off a little bit more. So look at this fun little animation they've got going on here. This is how they came up with it. So the idea is that the line is a brand marker, and then it's used throughout all the applications, just like this. Cool. I'll throw the timer on and jump in.
I'll go. I absolutely love this one. I think it's probably my favorite one so far. I guess the logo that you look at initially is quite simple, but I think it is really on point for like their target market and the industry that they're in. It's nice and like minimal and techy. It still has like that kind of flame vibe to it, but it's way more modern. We do lots of those kind of styled logos. I really like that kind of logo. But in terms of like the application as well, I absolutely love the stuff that goes with it. So that little brand mark, the way that it animates, but even just as a little piece of like art in the background, looks fantastic, like a little tracing line. It's a kind of nod to the way you use the software. Also the cool gradient, it's like a nod to the heat map. So again, it's showing the way that you use the software, but it's creating really cool like backgrounds and artwork that just goes through everything they do. It's super consistent, it's super modern. The animation style that goes with it as well, I think is fantastic. And again, they've used those gradients that is like a nod to the product as well. I love it. Really good.
It even sits nice here on this little mock-up they've done at the top of the site page. It looks cute.
Yeah. Works in small sizes.
Yeah, important. Who wants to jump in?
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. But I have to say, I love the application, especially the lines, the gradient, especially the gradient. I really have to agree with Chris that it's like heat maps of where people like stays the most, and then the gradient, the colors and everything just translate that so well. But then I have to say though, the actual logo itself and the application of the lines and gradient, it kind of like a little bit disjointed to me. If we take out the logo by itself, then it's a very blocky kind of application, especially the icons. But in comparison to the visual element, it's very light. it's very natural, soft. So there's a bit of a disintegration in between these two elements. So logo-wise, 50-50, but then application, visual elements, it's 100% on point.
Grant, jump in there. I'll wrap it up at the end.
I think that I like the execution. I like what they've tried to do. I like the symbol. I'm not mad about the fonts. I think that there are nicer fonts out there. I think everything else is really done. I like the squiggle. I like the position. I like the weight, but it just I just feel they are better fonts. You know, I'm back in between the T and the J. They're fighting each other with stroke wise. I just feel that they are nicer fonts, but I do like the application. I like the intention. And from where they were to where they are now, I definitely think they took a step up. I just not happy with the font they chose.
Yeah. Look, I gotta reinforce a lot of what you guys are saying with what an amazing jump for a commercial brand to take this kind of leap. Like, it's not often you see a brand of this kind of size, you know, that has the board, that has the, you know, the old guy sitting at the top, not the person who runs it, but some of the decision makers, who allows for this kind of creativity to become the brand. And you don't often see that. You like look at the Ampol example. It was a lot more taken back, a lot less risky. And I like that they've taken a risk here. I see the same thing as you. I think the T and the J are fighting. And I think it's because they both hook and hook oppositely, that they kind of just, there's something going on there. I love the brand, the two lines, I think is phenomenal. And then I like the thinking behind what they've done with the rest of it, much like what Chris said, using the squiggly line, using the animation, using the hotspots. It kind of reinforces everything that the business is about. I think, if anything, definitely that font, if it was a little bit of work there, would probably just bring it all together. But it's definitely a great brand rebrand from where it was. I think, like, phenomenal jump.
I'm going to be controversial and say that I like the font.
Oh, there he is. He comes in.
It's got that kind of like slightly.
I like the font as well.
Yeah, it's got that like friendliness to it. It's not too like.
The clock is over. The clock has saved us.
I was just about to say though that the icon and the font, it just spaced out a little bit. Like, if they can bring the space a bit closer.
Oh yeah. I noticed that as well. I was like, why is the little symbol so far away?
Yeah.
It's like Chris is not agreeing at all. That is a non-agreeing face. He's like, I love hot dog.
It's got a friendly vibe to it. It's not too like clean and crisp. It's got like that slight little kink on the R. Like, makes it friendly and approachable. But still slightly tough.
Cool. Well, that was an awesome show. I've had so much fun. I hope you guys did too. And I hope everyone that's watching had a great time. I hope you could take away something a little bit that you might have not known of how we look at branding and how we look at logos and assembling the components that end up making a brand. It is something that we always consider as branders, as designers, of application, not just how it looks when you design it, but how it's going to transition into what it then becomes as a brand. And I think that's essential to creating any brand, is thinking about how it transitions. Saw some great examples, saw some risky examples, saw some probably not as acceptable examples of rebrands, but it's always great to take a look at these. And this is how we establish a bit of a perspective on what the industry is doing and where the industry is moving. To wrap the show up, I'll kick it to you, Grant, do a little wrap up, and then I will finish the show off.
Well, one of the things that I really find when we do this kind of subject matter, which is my favorite, is that I learn so much from other people in the sense of what their eyes see, what they feel, what they enhance. And I also sometimes get very shocked by sometimes the organization and the means of the power of the brand that they have as to what they actually go and do to themselves in the sense of that execution. But be that as it may, I really enjoyed all four commentary in the sense of what you saw that had sentimental value to yourself. And I learned a lot through that exercise. So thank you very much for being part of the show and enhancing the show.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much, Vincent. I'll see you at work on Monday, Vincent. Chris, we've got plenty of stuff to work on from you. Mate, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us from Brisbane. And even though there was a little time difference because we organized this show so long ago, and Grant and I have just been sitting here just, sweating for it to come up because we were so excited about doing it. And we didn't realize the time change was going to affect the calendar invite that we gave Chris. So he made it in here, straight in, jumped in, and it was, just on the nick of time. But it was phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Vincent, for jumping in.
Thanks, Vincent.
Grant, as always, pleasure. Everybody, please like, follow, comment, etc., etc. Let us know what you thought of the show. Let us know your opinion on the logos too. We're not the end all and be all. I am. The rest of them I'm not sure about.
Send challenges.
Yes, we want challenges. If you have guests that are going to be challenging, like it's great to have opinions that differ, like today's show. And if you have themes or ideas for things we can do in the future show, please let us know, and we'll definitely get it in the schedule to happen. Other than that, please enjoy your Friday. Have a safe weekend, and we'll catch you at the next show. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See ya.